Hey, welcome back to Philly Cheesesteak. It's time for more ArtFight ref sheets. Today I'm doing 4 ref sheets for characters that never even had ref sheets in the first place, so it's not redrawing refs anymore, just drawing. I kind of got lazy last year and only made 2. Anyway, today we are starting out with Marina, my sea creature dragon character. She's an Akuthian dragon, a type of dragon I made up that's inspired by a lionfish or scorpionfish. They have venomous spines on their head and down their back, and are immune to stinging plants like anemones and things like that. Marina is super independent and often disappears from her island home for days on end. She's a hunter and travels super far underwater to receive pearls and rare fish to sell. She's also a jewelry maker, but hunting is her main source of income. She has a stall in her town's market and is kind of a small business owner, even though she's not like a full-grown adult dragon yet. I used to have this story about her being in a large family and leaving because she was always ignored, but I'm not really sure if I like that story anymore, so it's not real anymore. I like to think that she's either an orphan or has parents that don't really care what she does and are never around. She's kind of antisocial and only has one friend, since a lot of other dragons don't like her due to her blunt, brutally honest way of speaking. But dragons buy from her anyway, since she's the only one selling some certain rare fish that they like, or they like her jewelry. And it's a small town, so they get what they can get. Anyway, about her design. As I said before, Akuthian dragons are based off of lionfish and scorpionfish. And the main thing I changed from that inspiration is the colors. Marina is more pink and purple while the fish are more red. She has stripes like lionfish and can breathe both underwater and above water. Alright, here's Marina's ref sheet all completed. I completely messed up her underbelly color and had to edit the photo in Procreate, but I think the rest of it came out great. Here it is when it's all edited and fixed to the right colors. Now onto Samira. She's a type of dragon I call a Cryonian dragon. It's inspired by crystals and geodes. They live high in the mountains where it's always freezing cold and snowing half the time and everything's covered in ice. I honestly have no clue where I got this idea, but if you see the scar on Samira's forehead, I had this idea that Cryonian dragons are born with these face horns that break off a few years after they hatch and leave painful looking scars on their foreheads. Samira is kind of obsessed with the reason why the face horns break off. She's convinced that there's some big secret that they used to not break off, or something happened to get the tribe cursed or something, and she's obsessed with reading history and trying to figure it out. She's kind of the most optimistic dragon in her whole tribe, because her whole tribe is kind of full of pessimistic dragons who think they're the worst tribe and all the bad things happen to them and they live in the worst place. But Samira tries to, see the positive side of it. A lot of dragons in her tribe kind of hate her because they think she's way too happy about everything and that everything's the worst, but she really just tries her best. She has a couple friends that are on her side, but most of the other young dragons kind of just make fun of her, and whenever she tries to figure out something, they always try to stop her from doing it. The thing is, Samira really loves her tribe. She loves where she lives, but a lot of the other dragons don't. She loves reading any book she can find about Cryonians or about the mountains where they live. She really likes research and history and reading, but most of the other dragons don't. They have a school, but no one really cares. Anyway, that's enough rambling about the lore. Let's talk about Samira's design. I tried to make her look kind of like a rock or a geode or anything. I like to think that the spikes coming out of her are crystal. She also has these little spikes on her chin, which are crystal. Cryonian dragons are very sharp, all their elbows have little crystals coming out of them. They also all have these 2 fanged teeth that are kind of inspired by saber-toothed tigers. Here's Samira's ref sheet all completed. I really like how it came out, although I wish I'd remembered to draw her extended wings somewhere on it like I did with Eris. We are now moving on to my first humanoid character. This is Nova. She's an alien with tentacle hair and purple skin. You may remember this from one of my old videos, but she's the character that I redesigned, and now I've redesigned her again with these sketches right here. Basically, the main thing I changed was her eyes and her clothes. Anyway, she kind of has a backstory, but I haven't really drawn anything for part of the backstory. If you watched the video about Nova all those months ago, you may remember that I had this story about how she lived living on Earth now because she crash landed and now she's sad, but I haven't really drawn her Earth version in forever. So I'm not even sure if that's really the story anymore, because this entire ref sheet is just based off her space version, because I just like the design way better. Anyway, I think her backstory is fine. It's just the design that I'm using for ArtFight, and then just the design I know her as is basically the space version rather than the Earth version. I might redesign it again. That could be another video, redesigning my redesign. Anyway, I don't have much more to say about Nova, and you might be wondering about the second part of the title, the ArtFight theme. I watched a few videos on other people's predictions, and I wanted to share my thoughts about the theme. So the thumbnail that they have for the theme reveal video has like a city in the background, which some people think that might mean it's city lights versus forest nights, but I feel like they wouldn't make it so obvious, so I kind of feel like it's not going to be that. I think the main thing that a lot of people were thinking it might be was that there's more than 2 teams, which I think would be amazing, and I think that it's kind of like a pretty good probability of it being that. I also definitely think it's going to be a theme that we've never heard of before, because they always used to do a poll every single year, and I feel like it's the 10th anniversary, they're not going to do something that they've already like told us about. Like, I feel like there's gonna be something super special because they've been hinting that there's like a surprise for the anniversary, and I'm just really wondering what it is, and I just have no clue. So if anyone has any guesses of what the theme might be or like what changes they might make, please tell me in the comments. I've seen some people saying that it might be like dragons versus unicorns versus knights or something, and I think that would be awesome. The theme that I definitely want the most out of all like the theme polls is definitely dragons versus unicorns. And I think it would fit like super well with like the 3 teams being like the knights and the dragons and the unicorns, and like they can even add the other fantasy creatures in there too. But no matter what the theme is, I'm sure it will be super fun and super cool too. Here's Nova's ref sheet all completed. I like the poses and the colors I chose for her, but I definitely messed up a few times in the line art. I added too many stars to one of her arms, and for some reason I made Nova's side profile skin a few shades darker than it was supposed to be. I fixed it in Procreate. I forgot to mention I also added her alien cat Bloop. My next humanoid character and the last character for this video is Primrose. I first drew her maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, which you might be able to tell by this artwork, which is very my old style. I used to make her have this giant mushroom hat that she wore, but I kind of was like redrawing her recently and I realized it kind of looks stupid. And I redrew it for her profile picture as a crown of flowers, which is like primroses that I looked up. It might not look like the actual flower, but it was just basic. Primrose is definitely a character that I have not drawn in like a really long time, except for those recent sketches that I did. I just like kind of forgot about her. Like I had her uploaded to ArtFight last year, but I just like never drew her. I never made a ref sheet for her. I never drew anything new. And looking back on some of the old artwork, I'm not really surprised she didn't get any attacks. I never even had a full body of her drawn. It was like a drawing that I hadn't even finished yet. Anyway, here comes an interruption from my cat Violet, who really loves to just sit right on top of all my drawings. It's okay though, she's very cute and fluffy. Primrose doesn't really have any lore or a backstory because it hasn't really come to me yet, but she's like this forest elf who lives in the forest all by herself. It's like a fantastical forest with mushrooms for trees and like, you know, a bunch of weird plants. She like fights with this big stick that she has, and she makes all her clothes out of plants and like moss and mushrooms and stuff. I like to think that she's kind of sassy and like really protective of like the forest and stuff. Like she rarely sees like other people or I guess other creatures or whatever. Like mostly it's just her and animals and plants. Like I bet she would be super nice to you if you just like left all the plants alone. But if you try to do anything to those plants, she'll probably hit you with that stick and like beat you up or something. I think that she would probably be kind of like clingy to people because she doesn't really ever see people, so she would probably just try to talk with them as much as she can. She probably weirds people out and that's why they never really come back, but she's kind of fine with it. She's very independent and does stuff all by herself. For some reason I really enjoyed drawing her like new design because I kind of completely changed it except for like the hair and the skin. I was redrawing her profile picture and I kind of just randomly thought of just doing a flower crown, and I think it came out really well. It's way better than the stupid mushroom hat. Thank you all so much for watching. Feel free to drop your ArtFight accounts or theme predictions in the comments. I hope I'll see you in the next one. Bye!